Good afternoon. Welcome to the afternoon session. And as an introduction to the section on research and innovation, I'll introduce the topic by providing you an overview of how European Aviation Safety Agency supports the research and innovation activities in whole Europe. And I will start. I have a few slides that I would like to share with you. So, what are the regulatory challenges when we are dealing with the innovative aerial services? So, first of all, we need to consider the quite complex dependencies, or let's say environments that are relevant or fundamental for the creation of the innovative aerial services ecosystem. And each of them has its own challenges and difficulties that need to be somehow addressed. So we start from the safety environmental protection regulations. So those are the challenges that are there because we as regulators we are facing the pace of technological innovation, but also the difficulties in dealing with the new aviation actors that maybe do not have the same background or experience like the existing legacy stakeholders. It was also mentioned briefly this morning during several panels, the need to address safety objectives that are CONOPS based, meaning that it's the concept of operations and the specific operations are let's say, somehow mandating specific objectives. And also to make sure that we can cope with sustainability and environmental protection requirements. The second challenge is given by the airspace integration. The airspace integration, you heard this morning about the concept of use space, so all the set of services that are provided in a given volume of airspace and that are needed to enable the scalable drones operations, and also the digital infrastructure and services that are needed to enable such operations. Another layer of complexity is introduced by the integration of the whole ecosystem. This morning, the wording multimodal transport system integration was mentioned several times, and how to integrate these new infrastructures in the environment, the existing environment, but also keeping into account the preservation of wildlife. Last but not least is also the dimension of the societal acceptance, which is extremely relevant because here there are several elements that pertain to security and cybersecurity, liability and privacy, and also the need for enabling new skills and competencies amongst the workforce. So all of these let's say domains, they have strong interactions amongst themselves, and also an additional layer of complexity is given by the fact that there are multiple regulators starting from the European level, going down to the national aviation authority, regional authorities, municipalities. So all of them contribute with their own inputs to this environment. So how to enable innovative aerial services? So our idea is our objective is of course to make sure that we are able to enable new airborne technologies that are capable of supporting new type of operations and services that are in general of benefits to aviation, to citizens and to the aviation market. At the same time, also introducing or ensuring efficiency and sustainability of safe operations. We do this by supporting the European research and innovation initiatives and also the Green Deal objectives that are established at the European level, but also by supporting or accelerating the market development of new technologies or enable new concept of operations, or for instance, incentivizing the use of sustainable aviation fuel. The overall objective is to advance safety and security and environmental impact assessment, but also to make sure that we are capable of developing a regulatory framework which is agile enough to cope with the pace of innovation, and also to cope with these innovative products and operations that are brought on the scene. How we do that? So how we manage or support, we as a European agency, the research and innovation portfolio. We have different tools that we may put in place, and this tool depend basically on the partnership with which we engage. So we may have institutional partners where EASA, and the tool of the so-called contribution agreements. And basically through this tool, we try to address what are the real aviation authority needs. And here EASA is a more contract and technical management of the project. Then there are different types of other types of support to research and innovation they are typically established with the industry. So we go from the collaboration agreement for when it comes to contributions to a publicly funded research project, or the service level agreements and service contracts with joint undertakings or a research center like CESAR. But also, and this is quite a powerful tool that we can put in place with the individual manufacturers or consortia when it comes to the evaluation of innovation products or innovative technologies with the tools of the pre-application service. And I will give an example in a few slides on what are the typical benefits of those activities. Why all of this? Because here there is an idea behind that through this partnership we can prepare all the regulations that are needed across all domains, but also to provide an advice to new stakeholders in terms of how those technologies can be certifiable or can fulfill or to analyze what is the gap with the existing regulations on how to fulfill the requirements for the certification. An example of the contribution agreements that today we as an agency today have in place already have provided some initial, let's say, deliverables, or we have some projects ongoing that are aiming at supporting the drone industry in particular. There is one specific project which is dealing with the analyzing what are the impacts, what are the consequences of drone strikes on general aviation, but more in general on aircraft, and trying to come up with proposals on how to improve the design of not of the drones, but of the existing legacy aircraft in order to fulfill or to be capable of coping with a potential drone strike. There is another project which is important, the Shepherd, so-called Shepherd project. This is also an important partnership with the industry, because here we are looking at analyzing and scanning all the existing industry standards on the market to understand which one of those standards can be used as a means of compliance towards the demonstration of a safe design. Another contribution agreement project is looking at the model and simulation, and this is basically the application of the concept of the digital twin concept for the design verification or the certification activities of drones and eVTOL aircraft. The agency, we have some memoranda of cooperation with national research centers in Europe. So in Italy, it's with the CIRA, DLR in Germany, INTA in Spain, and NORERA in France, but also with the Association of European Research Establishment in Aeronautics, which is somehow associating all the research centers in Europe. An important element, which is fundamental to be successful, is the cooperation and with different stakeholders and different, so all the different stakeholders that are part of this, of the whole ecosystem. So we have put in place partnership agreements with the national aviation authorities, and we have some examples in Norway or the Hungarian authorities, or with research centers. We are also partnering or taking the benefits of the activities of the research groups that are established at the level of each individual member states. Of course, on an international, in terms of international cooperations, we are open to support and exchange with the foreign authorities, like not European authorities, or also with international organizations like ICAO. Supporting some initiatives that have been recently established in Europe, like the Alliance for Zero Emission Aviation. Collaborating also with the European institution bodies on research and innovation program, like I mentioned before, Horizon, Clean Aviation, CESAR. Those are all ongoing activities that are developed and supported by stakeholders. But we also want to involve, since the beginning, the new entrants. So in these the new entrants in these initiatives that are leading to the development of new regulations. One important or innovative concept that we are bringing into the whole game, into the whole approach, is the so-called concept of innovation sandbox. These are basically these are tools that we develop together with the member states and the additional and all the other relevant stakeholders in the environment in order to replicate a real-life testing environment to evaluate and to assess the adequacy of existing regulations, or to explore and understand what are the needs for future regulations. So basically, these innovation sandboxes are somehow dealing with, when we approach to innovation sandbox, we are dealing with two different, let's say, interests. On one side is the need to encourage and support the innovation. On the other side, we as a regulatory authority have the need to ensure that whatever form of aviation continues to be safe. So there is on one side the risk of under-regulating, or on the other side the risk of over-regulating a certain domain. And therefore we are trying to introduce this. We are introducing this concept in cooperation with all the stakeholders to develop these innovation sandboxes. Here, all the stakeholders are involved in creating a controlled real-world environment that is replicating what will be one day the real-life scenario, and to tackle in the own manner the specificities of the innovation, of the innovative technology or the innovative product that needs to be tested. This is done by, of course, there are certain compromises that need to be granted or achieved. So basically, either loosening what are the current constraints of the existing approved regulations in order to test and evaluate the adequacy of new ones. In any case, even if we take such an approach of, let's say, setting aside temporarily the existing rules, there is always safeguards that are put in place in order to preserve what are the overarching regulatory objectives of the regulations, such as safety and sustainability. So always we have those as our targets. There is also another important element in this exercise that we do with the stakeholders, that we go and try to learn from the exercise to collect data and to build knowledge, so in order to address in a better manner the next challenges. The specific partnership with the stakeholders, with the industry stakeholders and the national competent aviation authorities can take the form of different types of services that we as an agency can offer to the industry. And so we call them, we name them under the umbrella of pre-application services. And there are three different typologies of contracts that we can put in place with individual stakeholders. So either an innovation partnership contract, or a pre-application contract, or a technical advice contract. All of them are basically aimed at performing or achieving a series of objectives together with the industry, with our industrial partner, and with the member states that are involved in these activities. So, on one side, we cooperate all together to analyze and develop an innovation sandbox. So, what I tried to explain before. The objectives or the outcomes of this exercise are to assess what could be a regulatory, or to perform an analysis of what are the regulatory gaps, or what we could learn by the implementation of the innovation sandboxes. These are kind of safe environments where the industry can experiment. So it's not pure testing, but because the collaboration and cooperation with the regulatory actors prepares the regulatory authorities in order to develop future regulations. And this is basically leads to the definition of new special conditions or new means of compliance for proving that these products can be safe and airworthy. It's seen from my perspective, these are activities that can be seen from the industry as a de-risking process that the industry can put in place in order to make sure that their product or their innovative technology is capable of going on the market from a regulatory point of view, having a defined framework behind. Just to give an example of what, and talking about innovation, what were the recent outcomes since all these services have been established and be put in place with the industry. For those of you that are familiar with the recent developments and talking about innovative air services, so this partnership with the industry have allowed us to develop a series of initial regulatory frameworks, specifics for given innovative domains. Like, for instance, if you're familiar with the special conditions for VTOL, that is used as a certification airworthiness requirements for the certifications of VTOL-capable aircraft. We have, for instance, developed the special condition for new airships or the gyroplanes, but also the certification of electrical powertrains or hybrid propulsion system. And last but not least, also for those of you that are involved in the certification activities, may be quite familiar with the special conditions for the light drones. So it's the set of requirements that needs to be demonstrated before being able to operate in certain complex and risky scenario. So to summarize, this is enabling innovative air services. It requires a good cooperation, any strict cooperations between several stakeholders that are in the whole ecosystem. And starting from the institutional bodies or other authorities, not only at European level, but also national or regional level, as the case requires, but also to cooperate in a strict manner with the industry. This is fundamental because only through this coordination and cooperation between the three, we can make sure to create the proper conditions to enable innovative area services in Europe. Thank you very much for your attention.